Hi, Luke here from Technicamps with a quick video on the session 8 tasks, which are all about for loops. So let's do task 8.1 first. So write a program which prints the numbers 10 to 1 inclusive using a for loop. This can be done very easily using a for loop with an appropriate step value. Okay, cool. So let's go File, New File. For I in range. So we've got the options of just having a stop value, or we can have a start, stop, and step value. Now, I want it to actually start at 10, right? Because it's going from 10 to 1. I want it to be inclusive, so it goes up to but doesn't include the last number. So we're going to go up to 0 rather than 1. I'm going to count downwards, so we're going to go in a step value of -1. If I then print I, file, save as, task 8.1. And then run module. There we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, so that is a program which prints the numbers 10 to 1 inclusively. It includes the number 10, it includes the number 1, and it uses a for loop. Awesome. Right, so task 8.2. Write a program which prompts the user for some positive integer n. The program should then print all the even numbers up to n. Okay, cool. So another for loop. So file, new file. Okay, so we need the user to enter some positive integer n. So user input equals int input. Please enter a positive integer. Okay, and then we want to print all the even numbers up to n. So for I in range, we're going to go from 0 up to n in step, not n, up to user input in step values of 2. So it's going to go 0, 2, 4, and so on. Print I. File, save. Call this task 8.2. Let's run this task, run this module, there we go. So we enter a positive integer, so let's try something like 8. And it prints 0, 2, 4, 6. Okay, that seems fine. This can be, okay, prompts the user for some positive integer, and the program should then print all even numbers up to n. It doesn't say up to and including n. So up to n, that seems fine. If we wanted to, we could get it to maybe, instead of starting counting at 0, we could get it starting counting at 2. But that might cause an issue if we entered like something like the number 1. So I'm just going to leave it like that and say that's pretty good for the task. If I wanted to also potentially include the user input, I do user input +1. So if I file, save, run module, this time if I enter a positive integer like 8, it will also print out 8. Okay, so up to and including. I'm quite happy with that. So I'm then going to move on to the next task. Task 8.3. Write a program which simulates tossing a coin 10 times. You can do this by having a for loop which, part 1, generates either a 0 or a 1 randomly. Generates a random integer between 0 and 1 inclusively. Cool. If the number is 0, then print heads. If the number is 1, then print tails. Cool. So let's go File, New File. So we're going to need some stuff from the random library. So import random. For I in range, I think we're doing it 10 times. 10 times, yeah. For I in range 10, flip equals random.randint 0 or 1. Right, so this is going to give us a 0 or 1. And then if flip equals 0, we'll say that's a heads. Print heads. L if flip equals 1, print tails. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. So file, save, task 8.3, run module. So this, what does it do? It 10 times, yeah, heads, tails, heads. That seems fairly random. It picks a random integer. Either it picks the integer 0 or the integer 1. If it picks 0, it prints out heads. If it picks 1, it prints out tails, and then it loops back to the start. Does that 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cool. Just to show that maybe, hopefully, that it is random. If I press the run module button again, we get a completely different series of heads and tails to how we got the first time. Seems pretty good to me. So that's task 8.3. Challenge task 8.4. Write a program which prompts the user for a positive integer n. Cool, take a user input. The program should then print a hollow square of asterisks n by n in size. Okay, for example, if the user entered n as 5, the program would print this output. Okay. And then there's a nice little hint. A print statement such as print some string, comma, end with an empty string will print some string without adding the new character line. Okay, cool. Right, that'll help. So let's open up a new file. New file. User input, right? Because we're going to get some value from the user. User input equals int input. Please enter a positive integer. There we go. Okay, and then we want to print. Let's print this first row first. So print star times user input. Let's just test that for now. So file, save, task 8.4. So we're hoping that this is just going to print out a certain number of asterisks. So let's say I gave it the integer 1, we get 1 asterisk. Let's run this again. Say I did it 10 times, I get 10 asterisks. Cool, awesome. So that's kind of this first bit done. Then I need to kind of do this middle bit, right? This section here. Okay. For I in range, I actually want to do this user input number of times minus 2, right? Because I'm just doing the middle sections now. I'm not doing. I'm just doing these sections here. And then I'll do the top and the bottom again outside the loop. So I did the top outside the loop. Inside my for loop, I'm going to do the middle section, and then outside my for loop, I'll do the last bit. Okay. Print one of these, comma, and then what was the special hint? End equals empty string. Print. I want to print then a certain number of empty spaces. Do I want to do it as spaces, I guess? Let's do it as a space symbol. Why not? And we're going to do that user input minus 2, because we're ignoring the far left and the far right, because they're going to be asterisks. User input times, and then we're going to have, again, don't print a new line. And then finally print an asterisk. This one isn't going to have that new line thing, the not having a new line, because I want a new line when I loop back to the start of my for loop. And then outside my for loop, I'm just going to print the final row of asterisks. Input. Okay, file, save, run module. So if I do this once, I should get an I don't know what it's going to do when I print it once, right? So it does this one asterisk, then this for loop doesn't run at all, and then it does this asterisk, because for range, user input minus 1 minus 2 is going to be quite a weird one. Let's see what happens if I run it for the value 2. Again, I'm expecting a similar thing. It's going to print out 2 asterisks. Range 0 means that this for loop doesn't run, and then it prints out 2 asterisks at the end. Okay, let's run it one more time for something like 5. Oh, okay, we've got a problem here. Unsupported operands for string and int. Okay. Let's just do this like this. end equals the empty string. Try and run that again. File. Oh, not close. Cancel. File. Save. Run module. We'll see if we get the same error. 5 times. Yeah, we do. User input -2. Run module. Okay. There we go. Cool. So just had an issue where it wasn't too happy with doing a multiplication of user input and then taking away 2. So it did a string, did the multiplication of the user input by the string, which gave us a string data type, and then tried to take away 2 from the string, and you can't take away an integer from a string. So we just needed to do this piece of maths in brackets before we did the multiplication. And then you see we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 5 rows, and the center is hollow. Awesome. And then I'm just going to run it one more time to show you what it would look like with quite a big number, something like 20. We get quite a big table. Okay, so that's everything for the Unit 8 tasks. I hope that was useful. Best of luck with the rest of the things that you do in this course, and I will see you in the next video.